Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will be conducting the pre-bid conference for civil work projects. To start with, please all stand for a prayer.
For our attendees, we have here our back chairperson, Engineer May Tapiano. Our back vice chairperson, Engineer Francisca Malcon. Our back members, we have Engineer Troy Villanueva, Engineer Elidura Zulia, Engineer Irwin Amboy, and Miss Joy Duspar. For our TWG, we have Engineer Rona Ortiz, our TWG head. And for our TWG members, we have Ivy Soriesta, Miss Gail Candice Cañete, and Engineer Giovanni Sorbano. For our box secretariat, we have Miss Ibunigalio, and we also have Engineer Paulo Macalalag, our representative from the Planning and Design section. We don't have any representative from our prospective leaders, Ms. Chair.
Contract ID 24GE0046, road widening at specific locations along Guimaras Circumferential Road, S00028GR, kilometer 83 plus 660 to kilometer 84 plus 460. Location, Salvacion, Nueva Valencia, Guimaras, with an ABC of 50,575,000. Source of fund, FY 2024 GAA. Contract duration, 208 calendar days. Cost of bidding documents, 50,000 pesos. The scope of works for 24GE0046, Part B, other general requirements. Part C, earthworks. Part D, sub-base and base course. Part E, surface courses. Part F, bridge construction. Part G, drainage and slope protection structures. Part H, miscellaneous structures. The required pickup license for 24GE0046 projects are as follows. Size range, medium B. License category A, single largest project above 50 million up to 100 million pesos. Allowable range of contract cost up to 200 million pesos. Contract ID 24GE0047, off carriageway improvement of intersections, Rizal Hordan Wharf Road with S00026GR, kilometer 8 plus 170. Location, Hordan, Guimaras, with an ABC of 9,290,000. Source of fund, FY 2024 GAA. Contract duration, 103 calendar days. Cost of bidding documents, 10,000 pesos. The scope of works for 24GE0047, Part B, other general requirements. Part C, earthworks. Part D, sub-base and base course. Part E, surface courses. Part F, bridge construction. Part H, miscellaneous structures. The required pickup license for 24GE0047 projects are as follows. Size range, small b. License category, C and D. Single largest project above 500,000 up to 10 million pesos. Allowable range of contract cost up to 15 million pesos. Contract ID 24GE0048. Road widening at specific locations along Guimaras Circumferential Road. S00028GR, kilometer 20 to 490 to kilometer 20 plus 740, kilometer 23 plus 654 to kilometer 24 plus 00, kilometer 29 plus 859 to kilometer 29 plus 1000, and kilometer 39 plus 214 to kilometer 40 plus 280. Location, Santo Rosario, New Poblacion, Cancilayan, in Buena Vista, and San Enrique, San Lorenzo, Guimaras. With an APC of 81,675,000. Source of fund, FY 2024 GAA. Contract duration, 271 calendar days. Cost of bidding documents, 50,000 pesos. The scope of works for 24GE0048. Part A, facilities for the engineers. Part B, other general requirements. Part C, earthworks. Part D, sub-base and base course. Part E, surface courses. Part H, miscellaneous structures. Part L, the C, drainage works. The required pickup license for 24GE0048 projects are as follows. Size range, medium B. License category A, single largest project, above 50 million up to 100 million pesos. Allowable range of contract cost up to 200 million pesos. Major categories of works for 24GE0046, 24GE0047, and 24GE0048. RCP roads, construction, PCCP. Similar categories of works, roads, rehabilitation, PCCP. Roads, construction, tunnel, PCCP. Qualifiers must have completed reconstruction and reblocking, including base course covering 50% of the item of work of the project. May include airport runways, taxiways, and aprons. Contract ID 24GE0049. Construction of multipurpose building. Construction of multipurpose building in province of Guimaras. Location, San Miguel, Hordan, Guimaras. APC of 4,999,500. Source of fund, FY 2024 GAA. Contract duration, 110 calendar days. Cost of bidding documents, 5,000 pesos. The scope of works for 24GE0049. Part B, other general requirements. Part C, earthworks. Part B, reinforced concrete. Part E, finishing and other civil works. Part F, electrical works. The required pickup license for 24GE0049 projects are as follows. Size range, small b. License category, C and D. Single largest project above 500,000 up to 10 million pesos. Allowable range of contract cost up to 15 million pesos. Major categories of works for Contract ID 24GE0049. Buildings. Construction without piles, low-rise concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. Similar categories of works, buildings, construction with piles, high-rise concrete frame, cast-in-place piles. Buildings, construction with piles, low-rise concrete frame, cast-in-place piles. Buildings, construction with piles, high-rise concrete frame, driven piles. Buildings, construction with piles, low-rise concrete frame, driven piles. Buildings, construction without piles, high-rise concrete frame. Buildings, industrial plant, low-rise. buildings, industrial plant high-rise, buildings, industrial plant medium-rise. General conditions of the contract.
Notes on the general conditions of contract. The general conditions of contract in this section, read in conjunction with the special conditions of contract in Section 5 and other documents listed therein, should be completed. Complete documents expressing all the rights and obligations of the parties. Matters governing performance of the contractor, payments under the contract, or matters affecting the risk, rights and obligations of the parties under the contract are included in the TCC and special conditions of contract. Any complementary information which may be needed shall be introduced only through the special conditions of contract. The scope of contract. This contract shall include all such items, although not specifically mentioned, that can be reasonably inferred as being required for its completion, as if such items are expressed mentioned herein. All the provisions of RA 9184 in its 2016 revised IRR, including the generic procurement manual and associated insurances, constitute primary source for the terms and conditions of the contract, and thus applicable in contract implementation. Herein, clauses shall serve as secondary source for the terms and conditions of contract. This is without prejudice to Section 74.1, 74.2 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA number 1984, allowing the GPPB to amend the IRR, which shall be applied to all procurement activities, the advertisement, posting, and invitation of which were issued after the effectivity of the said amendments. Sectional completion of works. Sectional completion of works is specified in special conditions of contract, references in the conditions of contract to works, the completion date and the intended completion date shall apply to any section of the works. Possession of site. The procuring entity shall give possession of all parts of the site to the contractor based on the schedule of delivery indicated in the SCC, which corresponds to the execution of the works. If the contractor suffers delay or incurs cost from failure on the part of the procuring entity to give possession, in accordance with the terms of this clause, the procuring entity's representative shall give the contractor a contract time extension and certify such sum as fair to cover the cost incurred, which sum shall be paid by the procuring entity. If possession of a portion is not given by the above date, the procuring entity will be deemed to have delayed the start of the relevant activities. The resulting adjustments in contract time to address such delay may be addressed through contract restriction provided under Annex E of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184. The contractor's obligation. The contractor shall employ the key personnel named in the schedule of key personnel indicating their designation in accordance with ITB Clause 10.3 and specified in the BDS to carry out supervision of the works. The procuring entity will approve any proposed replacement of key personnel only if the relevant qualification and abilities are equal to or better than to those of the personnel listed in the schedule. Performance security. Within 10 calendar days from the receipt of notice of award from procuring entity, but in no case later than the signing of the contract by both parties, the successful bidder shall furnish the performance security in any of the forms prescribed in the Section 39 of the 2016 revised IRR. The contractor, by entering into the contract with the procuring entity, acknowledges the right of the procuring entity to institute action pursuant to RA number 3688 against any subcontractor, be they an individual, firm, partnership, corporation, or association supplying the contractor with labor, materials, or equipment for the performance of this contract. Site investigation reports. The contractor in preparing the bid shall rely on any site investigation reports referred to in the STC supplemented by any information obtained by the contractor. Warranty. In case the contractor fails to undertake the repair works under 62.2 2.2 of the 2016 revised IRR, the procuring entity shall forfeit its performance security, subject its property to attachment or garnish proceedings, and perpetually disqualify it from participating in any public bidding. All payables of the GOP in its favor shall be offset to recover the cost. The warranty against structural defects or failures, except that occasioned on force majeure, shall cover the period from the date of issuance of certificate of final acceptance by the procuring entity. Specific duration on the warranty is found in the SCC. Liability of the contractor. Subject to additional provisions, if any, set forth in the SCC, the contractor's liability under this contract shall be as provided by the laws of the Republic of the Philippines. If the contractor is a joint venture, all partners to the joint venture shall be jointly and severally liable to the procuring entity. Termination for other costs. Contract termination shall be initiated in case it is determined prima facie by the procuring entity that the contractor has engaged before or during the implementation of the contract in unlawful deeds and behavior relative to contract acquisition and implementation, such as but not limited to corrupt, fraudulent, collusive, coercive, and obstructive practices as stated in ITB Clause 4. Day works. Subject to the guidance of Variation Order Annex E of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184, and if applicable as indicated in the SEC, the day work rates in the contractor's bid shall be used for small additional amounts of work only when the procuring entity's representative has given written instruction in advance for additional work to be paid in that way. Program of work. The contractor shall submit to the procuring entity representative for approval the said program of work showing the general methods, arrangement, order, and timing for all the activities in the works. The submission of program of work are indicated in the SCC. The contractor shall submit to the procuring entity's representative for approval an updated program of work at interval no longer than the period stated in the SCC. If the contractor does not submit an updated program of work within this period, the procuring entity's representative may withhold the amount stated in the SEC from the next payment certificate and continue to withhold this amount until the next payment after the date on which the overdue program of work has been submitted. Instructions, inspection, and audits. The contractor shall permit the GOP or the procuring entity to inspect the contractor's accounts and records relating to the performance of the contractor and to have them audited by auditors of the GOP or the procuring entity as may be required. Advance payment. The procuring entity shall upon a written request of the contractor shall be submitted as a contract document. Make an advance payment to the contractor in amount not exceeding 15% of the total contract price, to be made in lump sum or at least at most 2 installments according to a schedule specified in SEC, subject to the requirements of Annex E of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184. Progress payments. The contractor may submit a request for payment for work accomplished. Such requests for payment shall be verified and certified by the procuring entity's representative or project engineer. Except as otherwise stipulated in the SEC, materials and equipment delivered on site but not completely put in place shall not be included for payment. Operating and maintenance manual. If required, the contractor will provide as-built drawings and or operating and maintenance manual as specified in the SEC. If the contractor does not provide the drawing and or manuals by the date stated above, or they do not receive the procuring entity's representative approval, the procuring entity's representative may withhold the amount stated in the SEC from payments due to the contractor.
Special conditions of the contract. Notes on the special conditions of contract. Similar to the BDS, the clauses in this section are intended to assist the procuring entity in providing contract specific information in relation to corresponding clauses in the GCC from the Section 4. The special condition of contract apply the GCC. specifying contractual requirements linked to the special circumstances of the procuring entity. The procuring entity's country, the sector, and the works procured. And preparing this section, the following aspects should be checked. A. Information and complements provision of the GCC must be incorporated. B. Amendments or supplements the provision of the GCC as necessitated by the circumstances of the specific purchase must also be incorporated. However, no special condition which defeats or negates the general intent and purpose of the provision of the GCC should be incorporated herein. Specification. Notes on specification. A set of precise and clear specification is a prerequisite for bidders to respond realistically and competitively to the requirements of the procuring entity without qualifying or conditioning their bids. In the context of international competitive bidding, the specification must be drafted to permit the widest possible competition and at the same time present a clear statement of the required standards of workmanship, materials, and performance of the goods and services to be procured. Only if this is done will the objectives of economy, efficiency, and fairness in procurement be realized. Responsiveness of bids shall be ensured, and the subsequent task of bid evaluation facilitated. The specification shall require the tool goods and materials to be incorporated and the works be new, unused of the most recent or current models, and incorporate all recent improvements in design and materials unless provided otherwise in the contract. Samples of specification from previous similar projects are useful in this respect. The use of metric units is mandatory. Most specifications are normally written especially by the procuring entity or its representative to suit the works at hand. There is no standard set of specification for universal application in all sectors, in all regions, but these are established principles and practices which are reflected in these PBDs. There are considerable advantages in standardizing general specification for repetitive works and recognized public sectors, such as highways, ports, railways, urban housing, irrigation, and water supply, in the same country or region where similar conditions prevail. The general specification should cover all classes of workmanship, materials, and equipment commonly involved in construction, although not necessarily to be used in a particular works contract. Deletion or addendums should then adapt the general specification to the particular works. Care must be taken in drafting specification such to ensure that they are not restrictive. In the specification of standard for goods, materials, and workmanship, recognized international standards should be used as much as possible. Where other particular standards are used, whether national standards or other standards, the specification should state the goods, material, and workmanship that met other authoritative standards, and which ensure substantially equal or higher quality than the standards mentioned will also be acceptable. The following clause may be inserted in the ECC. Sample clause, equivalency of standards and codes. Wherever reference is made in the contract to specific standard and codes to be met by the goods and material to be furnished and work performed or tested, the provisions of the latest current edition or revision of the relevant standard codes in effect shall apply, unless otherwise expressly stated in the contract. where such standards and codes are national or relate to a particular country or region. Other authoritative standards that ensure a substantially equal or higher quality than the standards and codes specified will be accepted subject to the procuring entity's representative prior review and written consent. Difference between the standards specified and the proposed alternative standards shall be fully described in writing by the contractor and submitted to the procuring entity's representative at least 28 days prior to the date when the contractor desires the procuring entity representative consent. In the event the procuring entity's representative determines that such proposed division do not ensure substantially equal or higher quality, the contractor shall comply with the standards specified in the documents. These notes are intended only as information for the procuring entity or the person drafting the bidding requirements. They should not be included in the final bidding documents.
For drawings and bill of quantities, please see the uploaded files on PhilGIPS and DPWH website. These are the documents comprising the bid. Legal documents, PhilGIPS registration, self-registration or DTI registration, mayor's permit, and tax clearance. Technical documents requirements, statement of ongoing contracts, statement of bidder's single largest completed contracts, pickup license or special pickup JV license, bid security, organizational chart, list of contractors' major equipment, list of contractors' minimum materials testing equipment, omnibus sworn statement, ITR and financial statement, NFCC computation, and valid joint venture agreement if applicable. Financial documents requirements, financial bid form, bill of quantities, detailed estimates including summary sheet, and quarterly, monthly cash flow and payment schedule. All documents shall be printed in A4 format, tabbed and bounded. Please attach the bidding documents in the technical component of your bid. For bids to be submitted electronically online, the following procedures should be observed following the O87 series of 2020. Number 1, submission of electronic official receipt of purchase of the bidding documents. Number 2, confirmation of the electronically submitted official receipt. Number 3, preparation and submission of an electronic bid. Number 4, modification of an electronic bid. Number 5, non-participation in the bidding. Number 6, withdrawal of electronic bid. Number 7, opening of the electronic bid. Number 8, file name convention in case of joint venture bidder. Bid opening for 24 GE 0046 and 24 GE 0047 shall be on February 14, 2024 Wednesday, and for 24 GE 0048 and 24 GE 0049 shall be on February 15, 2024 Thursday, 9 a.m. at second floor bidding room, DPWH Guimaras District Engineering Office, San Miguel, Hordan, Guimaras. Bids will be opened in the presence of the bidder's representative who choose to attend. Late bid shall not be accepted. Bid submission may be done manually or electronically online. However, bidders should only select one mode of submission, either manual or electronic. Similar to manual submission, the guidelines for the preparation and submission of an electronic bid are contained in the BDS. Bids must be duly received by the Back Secretariat for manual submission or at electronic bids_Guimaras at dpwh.gov.ph for electronic submission on or before February 14, 2024 and February 15, 2024 respectively at 9 a.m. All bids must be accompanied by a bid security in any of the acceptable forms and in the amount stated in ITB Clause 18. Any clarification? Since there is no representative from the respective